So welcome everybody. Today's What's Up in Germany event, and my name is Ulla Kruse-Lehtonen. I'm here, one of those the Boardman Grow board members in this capacity now in this meeting, and hosting our wonderful speakers. I myself, in my day job, run a business called Dane Studios, and we're a Finnish German AI consultancy, and that's why there is a personal connection also to Germany, and also our investors sit in Hamburg, Germany. So there is quite a lot of interaction day to day. But today I'm joined by four speakers. So first, we start with Jan Pasemann, who is from PwC and in charge of the EMEA account, or kind of EMEA area. And Jan is doing a lot of M&As and market strategies, and looking at investments inbound, outbound, to make companies expand to other markets. So and Jan is joined with Peter English, also from Germany. Used to be former PwC, but today the managing director of Intes Academy for family businesses. So and the speakers may then present themselves in more detail when you start your presentations. And Jan and Peter will tell a bit about the German economy overall, how things are, what's happening there, what is the current sentiment, and especially from the perspective what's important now for us here in Finland, and for small medium-sized enterprises planning on expanding to Germany. And then we are joined by Helmi-Nelli Körkkö from Business Finland. And she's a senior advisor based in Berlin. You have already lived there for 15 years. So also extensive knowledge of the DACH region. And you're especially focused on energy, hydrogen, decarbonization topics. And then we will have, as our last speaker, we will have Tatu Kuivalahti, who is telling more from a customer or case study from his perspective. Kustobar, this marketing platform for e-com and for omni-channel retail. So Tatu is the co-founder, a board member, and has been working for a long time in this area, and they have also entered the German market. So we will hear very personal stories about what works, what doesn't work, and so forth. So very happy to invite and everybody here, and the listeners. We have a chat there. So the idea is that please, when you listen to people, please use the chat, and then ask questions. And we can have, after each presentation, we have some time for a couple of questions, and then we have some 10 minutes at the end also to wrap up topics if there are any outstanding questions, and I believe there will be, because this is quite a fascinating topic overall. But with that, I would like to then introduce Jan and Peter to take the stage. So if the two of you want to start sharing your slides. Thank you.
Yes, perfect. Thank you very much, and I appreciate you having us. Very warm welcome from Germany. Jan Pasemann, my name. I work for PwC, for a team called the International Growth Practice, and my day-to-day business is to help companies to expand into new markets. So whether this is into the European region, into Germany in particular, but also helping companies out of Europe into Asia, into Africa, into the Middle East. And I'm here today to share a bit my view on Germany, on why to invest in Germany, but also what are the current struggles and how to do that. So with that, handing over to Peter.
Yeah, also warm welcome from my side. Peter English, also based in Germany. So, as mentioned by Ulla earlier, so my former job was a global head of family business at PwC, and my current role is managing director for Inters Academy in Germany in part-time, and the other half of my time I spending being a board of director member, non-executive board member in some of international family businesses, and the so-called executive in residence at IMD Business School in Lausanne. And a couple of years back, one of your board members from Boardman Group, Philip Aminov, and we had a fantastic discussion. How great would it be to have some really good and solid data points in which country there is a solid and the so-called enabling environment for private businesses to grow. And this was a starting point for the PwC EMEA Private Business Attractiveness Index, which I'm going to tell you more about and the final outcome. And I know that Philip took it to the Finnish government and had fantastic discussions with your government in Finland, and many other countries did the same. And I will share some findings, and there's an interactive data explorer, and you will receive the link to that so that you can have a deeper look after the webcast.
Great, then let's get started. And I meant to start the presentation a bit to reflect what's happening from the global landscape, from the European, German, up to how the economy is, how the political situation is. And you will hear a lot of negative news in the press nowadays, so especially a sluggish growth in Germany, quite some challenges since the geopolitical situation. Germany is an export-driven country, so whenever the countries worldwide, namely China, are struggling, then it has quite an impact also on the German economy.
I think what Jan is about to do is to explain in a little bit more detail, bridging the current press topics with the real situation in Germany. And what I would like to do, if we forward a little bit, is to put things here into perspective. He will go into more perspective there. If you go forward, another slide, and yeah, here. So this is the one that I would like to share with you, and this is the outcome of the, as I mentioned earlier, EMEA's Private Business Attractiveness Index. And surprisingly, Germany has even improved attractiveness compared to previous year, now being third in EMEA after Switzerland and Sweden. And if you're wondering what are really criteria for businesses that really matters, many of entrepreneurs, many of you may think tax and regulation is something of highest value and things to look at. In fact, it's not. This index has been compiled by an independent UK, not German, UK-based independent research firm, and is based on 64 completely independent data points, and not sentiment-based by doing interviews, hard fact data point across these 9 different categories and across the 64 data points. And we asked the agency also to do a correlation analysis, which are the most relevant areas for private businesses that really grows revenues and ultimately also GDP growth in a country. And not surprisingly, it's not the low tax countries like Slovenia, Romania, or others, or Bulgaria, who are fighting for low taxation, which means you don't have a solid tax basis anymore to invest in infrastructure, in education, in the health system. So what the agency found out that there's 3 main driving categories that makes a country attractive from a private business perspective. And one is the private business landscape in itself. What kind of opportunities exist to connect and make business with other private businesses, and how healthy is the landscape. The second one is technology and infrastructure. Yeah, and Germany is in the center of Central Europe, so we have many connections to our neighboring countries. We have, even if the roads are sometimes a little bumpy and you have something road under construction, roads are good, infrastructure is good, IT infrastructure, railroads and so on, even if the German trains are not as punctual as they were in the past, so there is a renovation going on, but the entire infrastructure and technology ecosystem is still very, very good. And finally, another very highly correlated factor where Germany is also ranking very high is in the area of innovation, which is represented by a very vibrant and high valuable and very, very healthy startup ecosystem for both a lot of founders that you find not only in Berlin, but across the country, from Hamburg, Berlin, Cologne, Munich, many different places, also up to finding the right investors for innovation. And if you look at these rankings, and as I mentioned earlier, I have developed this together with Philip Aminov. So what really matters is a balance between the different categories. Yeah, if you don't have a good skills and education system, you don't find the qualified workers. If you don't have a good sustainability focus, you're missing out a trend. If you don't have a health system for your employees and in the economy, this is also a slight disadvantage. So if you try to put this into perspective, that it's not only about labor cost, energy cost, current GDP growth, or low taxation, then you see the full picture. And in this context, I'm more than happy to pass it back to Jan, and maybe this provides a little bit of context to have a more holistic and not too focused lens when you choose a destination.
What I wanted to spend the next few minutes on is what type of investments is actually between Finland and Germany, to give some numbers and aspects here. So there's a close business relationship between Finland and Germany. For Finland, Germany is for Finland one of the top export markets, specifically on raw materials and equipment, transportation, and machines. And also quite a number of FDIs go into Germany. And I think that's quite important for you to understand. There's an established corridor between Finland and Germany. There's a number of associations helping with setting up a business, and also the partnerships and how to do business together. It's well established. Of course, where is the strongest need? So if you want to set up business in Germany, you have a lot of technology-driven, as well as closely automotive, ICT. Here, I feel that's definitely a good business opportunity. And it's steadily growing over the time, especially from what are either inbound businesses into Germany, but also how to use Germany as a hub to establish a business presence in other European countries, whether it's France, Spain, Italy, and so on. On the question on where to invest, here, this is a bit of a more of a challenging question. Germany is quite diverse. There's a number of economic centers. So depending on the type of product or services you're seeking, of course, if you look to the heavy industrial areas around Hamburg in the north, along the Rhine, from North Rhine-Westphalia down to Baden-Württemberg and Bayern, a lot of automotive present, mechanical engineering, but also healthcare, life science, and chemicals. I think these are the traditional hubs in Germany, where you also have a quite established institutional landscape, a lot of universities, and a good pool for talent and business partners. What's also growing more and more in the east, especially in eastern Germany, where you have around Magdeburg, a number of automotive players. Berlin is really emerging as one of the called the startup hubs. Life science here, Tesla established their presence close to Berlin, and then you have, especially in Saxony, a lot of automotive and semiconductor players.
No, I think we can continue with this one, right? As you can see here, so as Jan mentioned, so there are different areas, and again, if you choose an investment, or if you are interested in an investment in Germany, so it really depends on the area you want to go into. Yeah, so it's a multi-diverse country. We have a more federal system. It's not like that centralized as it is in the UK all around. some hubs in London, for instance, or in France. And as I mentioned earlier, you have this wonderful infrastructure and really strong industries. And even if some of them are not as strong currently, they are still very strong if you look at the fundamentals. So if you see on the next slide, so we have this various hub that Jan was elaborating already on, and you see that there is a broad range of industries with really international, well-positioned players. Yeah, and they're all seeking for collaboration. They all looking for more local but international partners. And you know that the Finnish-German business relationship is a very important one for both sides, and has been a very old and very well-established partnership over many, many years, as we know that. So there are plenty of opportunities. And if you're wondering how the current situation in Germany may have an impact on these various industries, of course, the increasing focus on sustainability efforts, the increasing focus on renewable energy, and the crisis in the Ukraine led to a situation that we have, of course, in some areas, increased factor prices, like increased cost for labor, increased cost for energy and the like. But what we also have is we have still a very high buying power of the general population. And what we also have is the highest level of employment in German's history. Never ever in history so many people have worked, well-paid work, above minimum of the minimum wages, which has been increased just recently again. So which means, so especially for the consumer market, with an indirect impact also on the B2B market, there's a lot of opportunities because the buying power is still very, very high in Germany. Maybe we move on with the slides. To speak, we have to be conscious of time, I guess, also a little bit. We want to allow the other speakers and for more questions, of course. So if you look at a potential strategy of entering the market, the German market, if you haven't already, so there are a couple of things to take into consideration. And Jan's team has developed the so-called PwC internationalization framework, which follows a certain logical track. So, and you read it clockwise here. So you may ask yourself, what is a strategy? What is a value proposition? And what is the existing and new customer pool that you want to address? Yeah, and this gives you the idea of the strategic direction, where to play, how to play, which then translates into the next quadrant, bottom down on the right-hand side. Jan, would you continue?
Yeah, I hope I can be heard. Sorry for all the challenges. And thanks for bridging it. Yeah, so this is our internationalization framework. And when you enter new markets, typically you have to consider those things all together. So where to play, how can you build a value proposition for whether you are competing against local players, but also when you want business partnerships. So I think it's quite important to have a good strategy to understand how can I fit into the market. And then secondly, Peter just mentioned it, the operations, the supply chain, the processes. How can you also build local operations? And how can you make sure that this operation supports the strategy? The third aspect then is a financial and human capital. So you will need business partnerships, you will need local financing, you will need some partners helping you with the talent. And it's really to build the backbone of your operations and how can the company grow as a, first of all, it's probably a small subsidiary, and then you build it into a more local, fully mature firm. Not to ignore the business environment, and this has been a bit challenging in the last couple of years, on what is the regulatory framework, what is the taxation that you have to consider. Luckily, Germany is, from a country risk perspective, institution landscape, very safe. So there's not much you have on concerns here. It's mostly permitting times and how long it takes to get certain permits in place. So with this, and this is more as a guide for you, when you think of setting up a business in Germany, it's a well-established market, things are relatively easy to set up. But you also need to look into how can you find the right partners on the ground to help you, whether it's sales side, finding customers, but also from an how to do business and how to find whether it's talent, financing, partners, or supply chain aspects. With that, I would go to the last slide that you prepared. And I think Peter has done a great job in highlighting the advantages that you have in Germany. There's actually another advantage because given the current economic situation, it's rather easier now for an investment. We've seen that, for example, for M&A activities, the prices to buy a company, to find assets, to find workforce, it's getting easier because in economic challenging times, it's actually easier to make an investment, get in, find partners, get commitment, rather than when there's an upswing. So the suggestion here is that now is the best time to look into Germany to set up operations. And then once the economy goes up again in 6 months, 1 year, you are in a good spot because you have already existing network, you have the assets on the ground, you have hired the people you need, and then you can participate in the economic upswing. With that, I would hand over back to the team if there's any questions, anything that Peter and I can address.
I don't see any particular questions in the chat at this time. So we can then, people that can still think about questions. And at this point, I would like to thank you, Jan and Peter, for the presentations. And then we can move on. So Helmi-Nelli, are you ready?
So thank you for the invitation to speak in this webinar today. And let me just shortly introduce myself and the topic. So my name is Helmi-Nelli Körkkö, and I work as a senior advisor at Business Finland in our Berlin office, as Ulla already mentioned. I've been in Germany for a long time and with Business Finland now since 2018, and worked a lot with sustainability topics with consumer business before, and then now the past around 5 years, mostly focusing on the energy sector, currently hydrogen being the main topic on my desk. I work as an advisor for Finnish companies who want to enter the German market, so export is my focus. And I will talk shortly about Business Finland, about our activities in Germany, how we can support, and a little bit about the German market in general, and in the end a few words about the energy landscape. Let me see. Okay. Now it goes forward. Yes, so at Business Finland, we are around 760 specialists all together, working in 16 locations in Finland and in 40 locations around the world. So we are quite well presented all over the world. We are a state-funded entity, so we work for Finland and for Finnish companies, be it then in Finland or abroad. In Germany, we have 2 offices, one in Berlin and one in Munich. 7 people in Berlin and 7 in Munich, so half and half, which gives us the opportunity to kind of look into the whole country with its diverse regions. And I have to say that we move a lot around the country, since many of the companies are also located around Germany, as we already saw in the maps in previous presentation. What we do exactly, as I mentioned, I'm focusing on export promotion. So my job is to support Finnish companies who want to enter the German market. We give internationalization advice and coaching. We identify business opportunities. You can see some examples here on the other side of the slide. We build networks, contacts to help the companies find the right partners, for example, in the German market. In my case, German market, but colleagues do this around the world. As very important support for us is our research and innovation funding, which is based in Finland, and also thematical programs that Business Finland runs. Those are also based in Finland, but they they kind of give the approach, thematical approach that we need in the foreign markets. Besides export activities, we also have in Germany 2 colleagues working on investment promotions, which means obviously supporting German companies who want to settle business in Finland. And we have colleagues also working for Visit Finland in the tourism promotion. So this is in short what we do. In the next couple of slides, I will go more deeply into the German market and what should be taken into account when entering the German market. So previous speakers already a little bit touched upon these topics, but I think one of the main things usually that we see in Germany is when we start talking about Finnish companies and Finland and start building connections here is the reputation that Finland has. Like, what is the image? What comes to people's minds at first when they hear, okay, this company is from Finland, maybe we can build connections. They usually, Germans think that Finland is a really competitive region. There's a good education system. This is still very strongly the image. It's an innovation hub. A lot of tech innovation comes from Finland, and this is definitely something that is noted. And now, since I think 7 years in a row, as Finland has been the happiest country in the world, this is definitely also one key point that is quite often mentioned when we start discussions about Finland or about Finnish companies, be it then whatever sector, usually the discussion starts with kind of, okay, yeah, oh, Finland, yeah, what was this again? And still, as Finland is pretty known in Germany, it's not the most known country. So there is still work to do, and that's why quite often I say that do not be afraid of these kind of stereotypical images. They can still help you build your brand, even though many companies say that, okay, we want to focus on the actual products. Sometimes it kind of helps to open the door if you think of if you give an image of where you're from. Finland's main export items to Germany are forestry products, paper, cardboard, pulp, metal products, manufacturing, industrial machinery, electric machinery, motor vehicles. These are still strongly present, have been for many years already. And besides these product groups, a lot of new tech and service imports are coming in the picture as well. Sorry. Germany has been for many years Finland's most important trading partner, or at least one of the most important. Here are some numbers from last year, and there are around 400 subsidiaries or branches of Finnish companies in Germany. Okay. Then, when you decide to come to Germany, what are the things that need to be that you need to focus on? Germany is very large, diverse country. A lot of specific sectors are located in specific in regions, in different regions in Germany. So you have to kind of know how the value chain is built, where is it located, and what is your spot in the value chain. You have to do your homework, know who others are playing in the same field with you. So get to know your competitors, build your competitive advantage. Usually it helps to collaborate with peers so that you can identify synergies. One example of this could be that we at Business Finland work very closely with Innovation Norway and Business Sweden. For example, we are present in the battery value chain, battery and energy storage value chain with our Nordic partners, and together can present a very strong value chain for the German companies. German business is quite often based on network, on trust, so you have to start building a network early on, obviously something where we can also support. This German market is a trade fair market, so a lot of business is happening on the trade fairs. It's important to know who is there and what kind of trade fairs there are, and then participate them. Quite often, if you're targeting, for example, tier 1s, then start on tier 2, and then find your target there. Find the right stakeholders and decision makers. You have to know what kind of level in the company you have to kind of target, because many times there are some differences in German and Finnish business culture what comes to the structure of German businesses. We mentioned already family businesses, so quite often there is a lot more hierarchy in the German systems than in the Finnish businesses. So you have to know which level of decision makers you have to target to kind of find your way in. Focus on specific challenges that your target company has, your possible client has, and find the way how you could exactly manage or solve these problems. So do not try to solve everything, but find a specific niche where you are good at. You have to be patient. Quite often you have to call people. Only sending email isn't enough, so you have to take the phone up and call, and obviously deliver, be transparent, communicate, and it helps to be bold and honest, which is a kind of easy advice, but good to remember. And I already mentioned that there are some cultural differences when it comes to the business culture. So hierarchy was already mentioned. The time horizon also has to do with the same thing. There are a lot of old family businesses in Germany, which already was mentioned. So many times, for example, trends move faster in the Nordics than in Germany. This is seen in many industries. What comes to digitalization, what comes to, for example, food trends. The companies do decisions on a longer horizon than in the Nordics, and sometimes this is good to keep in the back of your mind when you enter the German market. So do not be scared of when things are not moving as fast as you maybe were expecting. There's a lot of differences in the communication style. The German type of communication is more formal, status-oriented than the Finnish one in general. Obviously, also differences between industries can be found. So maybe the startup scene in Berlin is a bit different than the traditional businesses, for example, in the south of Germany. This is one question that I always want to point out, since it's quite often asked. So is German language a must in Germany? I would say no, it's not a must, but it's definitely a big help. And as I wrote here, you can buy from Germany in English, but you have to sell in German. It's still quite often the truth. So it helps if you have German-speaking people in your team, if you are working with a local person, or if you get help from locals to enter the market. Differences again between industries, but it helps a lot if you have someone who speaks German on your side. Just to sum it up a little bit at this point already, Finnish companies are well placed to succeed in the German market. It has a lot to do with the positive country image, the long, close relations, both political and industrial business relations. these contribute to the success of Finnish companies in the German market. It's a competitive market, it's a large market, so that's why it should be taken seriously, but it should not be feared. Because, as I said, even though sometimes things move more slow in Germany, things take time, but when you can make it, then it's worth it. So you have to be well prepared, do your homework, you have to be patient, and you have to find the right people to contact. I said in the beginning, I wanted to give some examples from the German energy market, because that's my main focus area in my work. And it's also currently a very hot topic everywhere in Europe, everywhere in the world. And mostly the focus currently is on hydrogen questions, but I will give you some overviews of what are the key priorities in the German energy market currently. As we know, a couple of years back, the situation in Europe changed a lot, and we were faced with the fact that basically overnight energy policy became security policy. And this was when, as we know, also Germany had to face the fact that, okay, we cannot buy cheap Russian gas anymore. We have to find other solutions. Quite quickly, reactions came, things were changed. German politicians have been traveling around the world the past couple of years, making connections everywhere, focusing on where to get energy to replace the gas. The situation was quite well solved in quick time. There were LNG terminals opened in the north of Germany, and things were changed in good tempo. And at the same time, new energy strategies, new policies were decided, and currently, some of the key priorities have already been there for years, but obviously these disruptions in the market have accelerated things quite a lot in the past years. So Germany's key priorities in the energy sector currently include increasing renewable energy capacity. It means a lot of wind power is built in the north. To get it to the south where it's needed, the grid infrastructure need to be made better. So there is a little bit of a problem that there's a lot of energy produced in the north and a lot of energy needs in the south, and this is sometimes a struggle that needs to be solved. Germany is promoting energy efficiency and doing measures to make the infrastructure better, and these all have been now written in the climate action program in the national hydrogen strategy that are aiming for 2030. So there are a lot of significant public investments made into green technologies, which obviously are supported by these two strategies. And as already mentioned by the previous speakers, these disruptions in the markets aren't always only problems. They can also open new doors. So the changes in the German energy landscape are also opening doors for Finnish technology exports, different collaborative projects being in R&D, for example, industrial applications. Obviously, as I already mentioned, hydrogen is a large topic. The whole hydrogen infrastructure will be built. It means a lot of opportunities are opened what comes to digitalization, what comes to safety and security, and basically converting the pipelines that are already there to be hydrogen ready. So a whole new market is opening due to these changes in the energy landscape. On the previous slide, you saw the map with a lot of pipeline, and that's the hydrogen backbone of Germany, which will be soon, which construction will start soon. A lot of old gas pipelines are converted to be hydrogen ready. A little bit, a few thousand kilometers of new pipeline are also planned. This is a very important step for the German hydrogen economy, and this was decided a couple of weeks ago that Germany will invest 18.9 billion euros for the hydrogen core network, and this will kind of this is now decided, and it will be a very important start kick for the German hydrogen economy. And this needed to be done even though there is a lot of political uncertainty in Germany right now because of such a strategic importance of the topic. So Germany is investing a lot of public funding to the hydrogen infra and to kind of kick off the hydrogen economy. As I already mentioned, many politicians have been traveling around the world, closing partnerships with countries, Norway, Australia, Canada, to mention some, North Africa, and it emphasizes the importance of hydrogen imports because Germany will not be able to produce as much hydrogen as needed, so it will be a net importer. This also opens some questions, opens some doors for the Baltic Sea region, for the Nordic companies working in this topic, because FACES and ICE are also looking towards northern countries and partnerships around the Baltic Sea, which is a natural kind of collaboration area when it comes to energy sector. As I said, a lot of infrastructure is in development, and a lot of European collaboration projects are needed to get this done. Germany is looking to be the industrial leader what comes to hydrogen technologies, but also very much pushing into Europe being a leader what comes to the global energy landscape. So European partnerships, collaboration is the key in the energy sector. Yes, I think that was my overview of the energy landscape and of the German market. One thing I wanted to mention related to this is that Business Finland will be at the Hannover Fair 2025. One of the topics is energy for industry, which will kind of be the umbrella. So if you're interested in these activities, please do not hesitate to approach us. And if there are any questions, then I'm happy to answer. Thanks.
Thank you. Super interesting. We have a couple of questions now in the chat. So Colin is asking about some success cases. So which Finnish business has successfully entered the German market in the last 10 years? What did they do, and how much revenue are they making from the German market? Do you have any good example cases in mind?
Yeah, there are a lot of companies that have been entering the German market since the last 10 years. I think we will hear some examples later. from Tatu, and obviously there are many larger companies that are active. UPM, for example, is building in Germany largely. Tech companies, smaller tech companies have been very active in the German market in the late years. I do not have in my mind any revenue examples. It differs a lot. It depends on the company, it depends in the value chain and the market. What comes to the energy sector, currently there are a lot of contracts made in the hydrogen value chain. It can be components for pipelines, it can be digital solutions for safety and security in the energy sector. So it's a huge variety of companies, but many names, both large and small, are there. I can give you examples later if you want.
Okay, no, great. And there's a related question actually. Any news from Heikki? Any news from energy storage or industrial heat generation with renewables lately?
Energy storage is one very important sector, obviously, which is both. It has to do with both the battery industry and the hydrogen sector. So a lot of companies are looking into this topic currently, and we had lately a couple of German regions asking whether Finland has any solutions what comes to this topic. So it's very much a regional topic currently. When we look at the energy infrastructure from, for example, in the northern parts of Germany, a lot of harbor regions are looking in the energy storages currently. So this it's partly to do with maritime sector and harbor infrastructure currently, what has been on my desk at least.
All right. I actually had a comment to you when about those cultural differences slides. So you mentioned that it makes sense to call, not only send emails. Something we have found kind of as a difference actually between the countries is when you make like this big cold calling, new customer acquisition, is that in Finland people actually pick up the phone, like with the calls, but in Germany we have found it's very, very tricky because you oftentimes, if you try to reach decision makers, you actually end up reaching the assistants or the receptionist, and people don't necessarily, it's hard to find the mobile phone numbers online. So they are this gatekeepers. So I kind of agree with your statement that the personal networks or events and these kind of fairs and so forth, that they play, and they're important here, but they might be even more important in Germany for new business.
Definitely, and there is one very big difference between German and Finland business culture is that in Finland you can find all the contact details online, and in Germany none of them.
Yes,
never.
exactly. Yes.
This is, if I may add, sometimes also the reason that you get so many contacts, so many people try to call you, right? So it's the same with myself, and if I look at my behavior and the behavior of many other colleagues, business partners, and owners and CEOs that I know. So if you have a secure channel, so if you have the email address and if you had an introduction first time so that he accepts your WhatsApp invite or even LinkedIn, which is easier and also quite effective, then you are in, and then you have a direct communication line. But I think it's a sheer amount of people trying to reach the decision makers directly, which leads to this behavior. But if you establish a connection, then you get fast responses for sure.
Exactly. Actually, now, Peter, that you're here, so quick question. So maybe this was related to Jan's slide, but about the market and entering the market strategy. So what do you think is the trickiest thing if you now think with the resources of not like UPM, but more like a smaller company, like when entering the market? So what are kind of the most the critical topics, or the most challenging ones where to pay attention to?
Yeah, find your place in the value chain, right? So where is the way you want to make a difference? So find your place in the value chain and build the respective networks and choose choose a location, because Germany's economy is so big, right? It's the third biggest in the world, so there you can make good business in different parts. But as mentioned in Jan's map, right? If you go for automotive, for instance, and you want to be part of the automotive supply chain, then you have to go where the networks are. And as Helmi mentioned already, you need to network. Yeah. So and organization like Helmi's organization, like German, Finnish Chamber of Commerce, like the advisors and so on, can help you to make necessary connection. So Philip Aminov has a great experience in doing that. He's a great networker. We all know him quite well in what he is doing. But I think this is for me most crucial. Find your place in the value chain, build the networks, and then choose your destination really carefully. Anything to add from your perspective, Jan?
And maybe one other thing is financing, because typically German banks are a bit risk averse. So you may want, first of all, have a good case and then secure financing. I think that's also a key thing to highlight.
Okay, yeah, great. All right, thank you. So, Tatu, are you ready? Thank you, Helmi-Nelli, so much appreciated.
Yes.
And we will take some new questions also at the end of the session. But yeah, maybe Tatu, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'll share my screen. Hopefully that works.
Yeah, we see it.
Yes. Good afternoon from my behalf as well. So I'm Tatu Koivulahti, representing a company called Custobar. We are now actually this autumn 10 years old company. Started, well, maybe I have here a kind of basic introduction slide, but founded in Helsinki and started 10 years ago. We were two founders in the beginning, and then now company has been growing over time. So we are now a team of about 35, 40 people, and still headquartered in Helsinki. We have at the moment actually just one person living abroad. So one of our salespersons is in Germany, but all the rest of the team is still in Finland. And we operate in many different countries. I'll shortly tell our story, how it has been evolving, how especially our German business has been evolving. But we've been trying out many different regions and markets, and through trial and error. Now, at the moment, we are now present in about 12 different countries in Europe. And partner network is really important for us. And shortly, what we do, we have a SaaS, software as a service business for retail and e-commerce companies. So we help them to utilize their customer data. Here are some of our customers, and you can see some familiar names and probably some logos which are not familiar to you. Many of them are from Finland, but few of them also from Germany. So Lavera, for example, Lamer, Outlieb, Strö, among others. Also Case King actually is a big kind of PC electronics company headquartered in Germany. They operate in many different countries, but that's maybe one of our biggest customers in Germany at the moment. Yeah, but just as an introduction. But then, I kind of made this kind of slide of different phases, and I was planning to kind of tell you the story how our German business kind of started. From the very early phase of or from the beginning, actually, we already knew that this software, the service will be. We wanted to kind of go out from Finland, from our home market, and kind of from the beginning we kind of started thinking different strategies how to enter different markets, and we've been using Business Finland services. They have helped us in many ways in different phases. We started, I think the first country we started some trials was the UK, but then we had a local consultant there, but that wasn't a good choice. The person wasn't really good match with us, and he was kind of finding creating networks, but the wrong types of networks. His networks wasn't from the e-commerce and retail, which is our kind of customer base, basically. But then Germany, I think, was one of maybe the second market that we started trialing, and our first approach was very opportunistic. So exhibitions, like taking a booth in an exhibition, had been from the very early phase kind of our one way for us to kind of get some kind of touch of the market in different countries, and also in Germany. So we went to some exhibitions focused on e-commerce and retail companies. In Berlin, I think there was at least one e-commerce Berlin event which has been running for many years already, and also some other cities. But this was the first touch point, and we did get few German contacts already that time. And when you go to, like, this is if a company is considering going abroad and utilizing exhibitions, those are really kind of difficult. You really have to put all your energy and effort to that exhibition, and kind of go out from your comfort zone, because it's easy to discuss with people who you know. But when in an exhibition there's people coming in who you have never met and who are not basically interested about you. But our approach from the beginning was that we just really actively stopped everyone who was passing by. And even though they maybe not all of them liked it, but we just started some kind of conversation. And through that, we did get some interesting contacts and leads from the first exhibition that we participated. And actually, then in the end of one of the first, I'm not sure if it was the first exhibition or second, but anyway, one of the first exhibitions that we took part, there was one entrepreneur who kind of got really interested, and then he actually bought our service. He was really open-minded, and even though Custobar, our company name, was of course not known in Germany at all, but he did buy it, and he was our kind of first local reference, which was kind of really important milestone, that we could say that we have at least one customer in Germany. And another, then we tried to utilize all the possibilities for networking. So if we knew anyone, or anyone who knew someone from Germany who might have some connections to us. So we had one friend who had who knew two guys from Berlin, and kind of who were in the marketing digital marketing space as consultants, and he gave an intro to them, and we gave a demo to them, and they liked our service a lot. And then one of them knew actually then managing director of a major online pharmacy in Germany, and he kind of introduced us to them, and that was there were many phases in that negotiation when they were comparing us to like some other services that they were considering. But finally, after many discussions and many trips to Hamburg, where the headquarters of that company was located, they finally chose us, and that was our, I think, second customer in Germany, and it was quite big customer case for us. So we started feeling that, okay, this is going to work. And then we got a third one, and so we had a feeling that this might work, and we made a next step, and we hired our first German-speaking sales rep. And in what we did, we actually found a person who was a Finn, so he was a Finnish person, but he was bilingual, so he fluently spoke German, and he came to work for us, and he first worked in our Helsinki office and contacted customers, and then also went for exhibitions in Germany, and he was able to then close a few more customer cases from Germany. But then then we decided to send him over because he was willing to move to Germany. So we sent him over, and afterwards, thinking of it, it was kind of a surprise how costly it is actually to really move a person from Finland to Germany. So if I would kind of could go back in time and make some other decisions, I wouldn't maybe do that. But anyway, because he was a good guy, and he was already able to do closing some deals from Finland. So we thought that, okay, I'm sure he can do much more if he's based in Germany. So he moved, but it didn't work out really. I mean, he was trying really hard, but and he got a lot of customer meetings, but it was really, really difficult to close the deals and really convince final convincing. The customers said that, yeah, this is good, and they were kind of little bit interested, but not enough interested to really sign the deal. So that, I think it came down to the trust. So we were still, even though he was fluent in German, and even though he was based in Germany, but we were still like foreign company and unknown company, and kind of direct sales channel it was really, really difficult. And we had to kind of then at some point we had to stop it, and yeah, it was just too costly because it didn't bring any results. So that was our kind of sad phase of our German business. Then many years passed by. It was like a little bit stagnant, but we did have already a couple of partners, and this partner channel has been really important for our company since this time. So we had local partners, local agents, digital agencies, and some kind of technology companies who kept bringing some new customers to us. Not a lot of big amounts of customers, but few customers, like one or two in a year. So the customer base was growing, which was interesting. But we didn't have any German speakers then at that time in our team. So it was a little bit tricky to, well, it worked okay in German, but I mean in English. But if we would have German person in our customer success, it would have been much better, of course. And kind of sometimes customers had some really difficult technical questions, and not having this kind of able to communicate in German was a kind of burden to them. I personally, I wanted to mention to you that I really regret myself that I quitted my German language lessons back in high school. I did study for 3 months, but I was too lazy, and then I kind of quit it. And now I would if I would have just kept on learning German, because everybody learns English. It's not, if you have children, so it's important message to them that everybody learns English. That's not a problem, but it's important to have at least one other language which you can really master, so that you can do business or work in that language. It's really valuable asset, which I regret that I don't have it. Yeah. Then we were focusing more on other markets than Germany, so we were growing in Benelux. Benelux was really good match with us, but German market was kind of little bit more customers. It grew a little bit, but then at some point, a few years back, we had a kind of, it was not about Germany at that point. It was just about our strategic kind of growth. Where can we find new sources for growth for our company? So in our business, the different ecosystems, there are those e-commerce ecosystems where Shopify is the biggest ecosystem in the world. It's the Canadian, US-based kind of e-commerce platform, and nowadays also widely used in Germany. But then still, the biggest e-commerce platform in Germany is called Shopware, and that's a local German e-commerce platform. And we had been trialing also different e-commerce platforms, and we had integrations to most of them already existing, but we were planning that where could we find like strategically or kind of more growth. And we came to conclusion that in Shopify ecosystem, there's so much competition that how about this shopware? Because shopware, we knew that it's kind of quite dynamic and big ecosystem, especially in Germany, but also it was growing also in some other countries. So they were growing in Benelux as well and UK, and it was interesting platform. And we decided to take the risk and kind of really invest in integrating our solution with Shopware and start kind of closer partnership with Shopware. And that meant at the same time that kind of German business, our German growth became kind of into spotlight in our strategy. So we hired our first local full-time sales rep in Germany at the same time, and also started looking for other team members. Our customers, we hired in a little bit later, but anyway, we hired another customer success person who is German speaker. So we really started to focus on German market with fresh energy and especially focusing on the Shopware as this strategic partner. But then we did gain some traction, but again we kind of got kind of stagnant phase, that it wasn't growing as much as we would like to, and that kind of the costs were higher than what we kind of gained new business. So we again had to do some kind of rethinking of our strategy, and we finally decided to give a try to headhunter. No, that's a spelling mistake. Headhunting. We had never really used headhunters before, but now we felt that okay, we are not giving up with German market, and we had more growth already, and we had the Shopware partnership which was going well. So, but we just needed kind of more power to our sales. So we decided to use a headhunter, and he found us a person who had, and I think this is one of the key things, he had existing contact network in our customer base. So this is something that we did. It's a simple, of course, and kind of simple idea, and definitely you should hire people who have this contact network, but we just didn't really realize it before, and maybe it was also because we didn't use headhunt. We didn't have money to use headhunting before this phase, so maybe that was also the burden that we felt that we can never find the right person with the existing contact network. But now with the help of headhunter, we actually found a person who had existing contact network in our customer base, and that really made a big difference. And lately, what has lately happened also in this last phase, we have been kind of extending the partnerships with other players in the German market as well, not only Shopware, but some other technology vendors, local technology vendors in Germany as well. So we are kind of leveraging the same model, which is this strategic partnerships, but now kind of finding new partnerships in different areas. And we've been keeping participating exhibitions. This autumn, we went to Demexco, which is the largest digital marketing event exhibition in Europe, and it's really huge event in Köln, and we had our own booth. And for the first time now this autumn, it was wonderful to be there, because people came to see us in the booth and said, kind of knew us already beforehand. So in the past, always when somebody passed by, nobody knew us, nobody knew anything about our company. But now for the first time, people came to meet us and kind of greet us and say hello, and whom we had met already sometime before. So it's kind of wonderful feeling when you start realizing that, okay, we have some reputation. I mean, of course, German market is huge, so not everyone in the e-commerce business or retail knows us, but some people do, which is already a good start. yeah, these are our phases. And I don't know how much I have used my time, but to conclude, I kind of collected some learnings from our path, and here's the summary of them. So the first one, which we never did very well, was that the founders of the company or top management of the company should. It's best if I can be present in the country as much as possible. I've been traveling a lot. At certain point, I was trying to spend half of my time in Germany, but it didn't really work out because I had so many meetings all the time. So even if I was sitting in Germany, I was at least half of that time I was in meetings in different regions. So I wasn't really present there, and I couldn't. I wanted to kind of build my own network also, especially in Berlin. It's easy, even though I don't speak German, but in English you can do fine, of course, in big cities and especially in Berlin. But yeah, I really felt I have kind of fairly small children, so if I would have been, if my personal situation would have been different, I would definitely wanted to move fully to Germany and live there, because I also love the country and I love the it's really pity that I never was able to do that. Then connecting with local partners, that was really key to us, which we also, well, we did it quite early phase, but we should have been pay more attention to kind of building these partnerships with local players. And many other speakers today also mentioned this personal relationships and this personal networking. That is really important, of course, in any country, wherever you go. The personal relations are really the key, where you build the trust and kind of grow your network. And you should also expect that from your personnel, what I mentioned before, that which we realized only to very late phase in our development, that when we hire someone, he or she should have his or her own network already, which is useful for us, so that the person has been working in the same field before. Then this is maybe a funny thing, but during the years, there's so many people who have been kind of knowing that German market is this or that, or kind of settling your business in Germany is this or that. For example, many people said that you absolutely have to have the local kind of business entity. You have to have the local limited company, but we still don't have a local limited company. That has never been a problem for us. So I mean, maybe for some industries it's really important, but for us it hasn't been a problem at all. So Germany is huge, as other speakers said also. Germany is a huge market, and there's a wide variety of different areas, and different industries are so different. So in digital marketing, where we are, I think companies are really used to buy software from different countries, and it's not at all a problem being foreign company as such, but the trust, building the trust, that's the basis, and we have to be kind of build those local networks of trust, so that customers are confident enough to buy our service. But kind of this legal entity or many kind of things that external people and consultants told us didn't actually apply to us at all. So it just go, and I think for us the trial and error, because every industry is different, every business is different. So I think it's just best to go and live there personally if possible, and have discussions, build the network, and just trust on your own kind of trial and error. And so doing a lot of trials, and then you will find the best way how to go forward. And yeah, this is really key. Invest in finding right personnel. So if but of course it's just speculation here, but if we would have been have had courage to utilize costly headhunter early phase, we might be in completely different situation with German business at the moment. But yeah, you never know. Of course, we did get quite good people also without headhunter, but then these local networks of the personnel is so important, and it's really difficult to find that kind of person and convince that kind of person to come to us. So the headhunter for us was really important step. Yeah, that's our story.
Thank you, Tatu. I would actually like to immediately comment on a couple of things. First of all, I fully agree with you with this, especially in sales, that you have somebody with an existing contact network. So we do consultancy, so it's slightly different business. We're 2 Finns, 1 German founders, and we are some 70 people, and half of us are in Finland, the other half in Berlin and Munich. And but what we have also found out that even if you are a German and you are local and so forth, but if you have the network, it takes years. Yes. So in that sense, you can definitely accelerate it by investing in somebody who already has it ready made. Then at the same time, like what you mentioned about the legal entity, I guess there it's really about like what you do, because in our case, since we started hiring people, local people like data scientists, data engineers, and so forth. So nobody wanted to be hired. You know, you don't want to be in Munich and work for somebody who doesn't have a legal entity, like the local labor laws apply and so forth in Finland. So, and I think even the tax office has, maybe our PwC people can comment on this one. But if you have like a considerable number of people somewhere, it's perceived as like a legal entity anyway for taxation.
That's right. So yeah, that's very true. We had a discussion with legal representatives and lawyers, and if we would have had, let's say, permanently at least more than 2 person living in Germany and working for us, then we would need it, the legal entity, absolutely. So,
yes.
So only if you have like one person maybe, and it's not permanent like location, then it's not needed. Yeah, good comments. Yes.
I don't know, anybody from the audience. So maybe I mean, if you don't want to type, you can just also like turn your camera on and comment if either questions or comments to any of the speakers.
Yeah, maybe in the meantime, it was also pretty interesting for me to hear your perspective and your experience coming to our country. So very, very interesting. Thanks, Tatu, for sharing this. Yeah. I think currently is a good time, right? You want to invest also always in times where you have plenty of opportunity. And as the previous speakers mentioned, I think now is time. There are so many opportunities down there, right? So the entire market, so from the traditional players, so some markets, some industries are really turning upside down. So the entire landscape is shifting right now. So some families go out of business, others want to consolidate and invest. This gives a lot of opportunities. What German families and business partners really, and both of you mentioned that, are really interested in is in a trusted relationship. Yeah, you want to understand the person, so you trust the person, not the brand necessarily. You trust the people and the person in the first place. Yeah, and I think this gives Finnish people a huge advantage, because Finnish people are considered in Germany as very reliable, very competent, very honest, value-driven, and very, very structured. Yeah, and I think we are ticking a little bit alike, Germans and Finns, in many regards. This is why it feels easy. To be around and to make business. I was in Helsinki last week, right? And for me, it doesn't feel so different. So the only thing what I'm recognized is, so you are so much more expensive when it comes to so many things. starting with a pizza margarita in Helsinki costing 20 euros and in Berlin 5 euros. So it's 4 times higher. I was like, my God. Or in one supermarket, I found that water is more expensive than a bottle of beer, which I found quite interesting as well. Come on, so it's super cool. I think there's a natural fit, and I think the time to explore is now. But with all the lessons learned that you just shared, finding the right partners, have the right people in place, have a certain level of language skills, resonates with our previous recommendation. Choose carefully where to play, how to play, and then seek advice from Helmi-Nelli or many others who are present. And I think this is a big advantage, so that you have native speaker, other Finnish companies who are already there.
Yeah.
And I would say overall, like this of course applies to other countries too. It's not only Germany, but now in this context, like there's also some legacy in certain like technological or digital topics and so forth. So and while the economy is not doing that great, at the same time, if we think of change, and of course, like business leaders, they need to do something. You cannot just sit back and and wait that things improve. You need to take action. And so actually, if you are in the industry like Tatu or myself, or I guess many people here in the audience that are selling some more like the products, the services are on the like top notch, using data, using AI, very automation and so forth. So still many companies are open.
Also sustainability,
and
a big topic.
Yeah.
Sustainability, top notch.
Yeah.
Exactly, yes.
But I must say, in general, I'm really grateful for European Union, even if it sounds really stupid, but that we have the same currency. We can do business across the borders without any like tolls or any like tariffs. So it's amazing. It's amazing that we can do that all across the Europe.
I must say that this is my favorite topic. When we started with Day in 2016, and we had to establish, we had the company is a Finnish company. We have a GmbH in Germany, and then we also had, not anymore, but we had a GmbH in Austria. And since we didn't have any money, we couldn't hire PwC, but we had just had to do it ourselves. And it was quite a hassle. So this is maybe a hint to Helmi-Nelli towards Business Finland, to actually, if you as an entrepreneur then you're supposed to do your business, but at the same time you need to figure out taxation and labor laws and all what like you need to file the banking side and so forth. It takes quite a lot of energy. So for me, it was, I mean, this sounds kind of stupid, but I was a bit under the, like before, thinking that there is something like an EU company, but of course that doesn't exist. So it's still like these are areas where there is no EU, no common these are national laws. So but it is definitely a bit like in our case, as said, with this legal permanent residency. So something that was tough. Yeah. Now it, of course, everything flies well. It's years ago, but back in the days, long nights. Otherwise, maybe we end this event. So thank you very, very much for open discussion, good insights.